Stephen's here on set. New figures, some good news once for Francois Hollande and the French government. Unemployment rate is actually falling, isn't it?
Yes, these are new figures in France's National Statistics Office. The rate of unemployment in France fell to 9.8% in the last 3 months of 2013. It's the first fall. It's come down 0.1%. It had been steady at 9.9% for mainland France through 2013. It's the first fall that we've seen since 2011, in fact, on the unemployment rate. If you include France's overseas territories where unemployment is traditionally higher, the rate is 10.2%. That fell by the same amount, but it is a turn in the right direction for Francois Hollande, who had been putting a lot of pressure on this issue of unemployment.
Comes as the French unions and the employers, they've struck a deal, haven't they, over Hollande's job creation plan.
Yeah, 2 pieces of good news in one day. Francois Hollande won't know himself. This is 3 of France's major trade unions agreed to a part of what's called the President's Responsibility Pact. This is his pledge to cut employers' charges by €30 billion, payroll taxes, to encourage employers to commit to creating more jobs here in France. Now, we don't have much of detail on what was agreed between those unions and employers. We know that the employers refused to commit to a fixed number of jobs that are going to be created. The deal will now be discussed on a sector-by-sector basis with the relevant professional organisations. The main business group, MEDEF, had said that they'd hoped to create 1 million jobs through this pact, but didn't want any legally binding targets. Let's listen to their reaction to this deal.
What's important in a responsibility pact is that the key players, and that is the spirit of this document, place an emphasis on trust and shared responsibility.
Going to stay in France then, turning this time to the corporate sector though. News of a bidding war for France's second largest mobile operator.
Yeah, Vivendi, that owns the carrier SFR, has confirmed it's received 2 rival offers for the mobile network. The 2 bidders are the cable and broadband operator Numéricable and the other mobile network, Bouygues. Now, the sale of SFR would be a big shake-up in France's mobile market, which is one of the most competitive in Europe. Catherine Viette has more.
2 offers, 2 differing visions for the mobile phone market. Altice, owner of French cable operator Numéricable, is offering to buy SFR for €11 billion and give Vivendi a 32% stake in the new merged entity. This could reap significant savings when rolling out new fibre networks, where Numéricable is already strong. The other bidder is Bouygues. The appeal there is a chance to reduce the number of mobile operators in France, something the telecom giants have been dreaming about since the entry of low-cost player Iliad, who operates Free, sparked a brutal price war in 2012. Since then, the market has gone from among Europe's cushiest. The 3 operators were fined €534 million in November 2005 for cartel-like behavior, to one of the region's most competitive, where packages of broadband TV and fixed calls start at €20 a month. Orange, which used to be France Telecom, is the market leader with 43%. SFR is number 2 with 32%, followed by Bouygues with 19% and Free with just 6%. Both Altice and Bouygues have pledged not to cut any jobs in a potential tie-up. But with 9,000 employees, the French government is likely to weigh in on the future of SFR.
Now, this news comes as Orange says that its revenues were hit by that ultra competition in the French market. Orange, which used to be known as France Telecom, of course, it says its earnings fell by 6.6% to just under €41 billion. It's cut its dividend to shareholders as a result, but more sign of that stiff competition in the mobile market here in France.
So how's that news then affecting the markets?
Well, Orange's shares actually opened up about 6% on those results here in Paris. They've fallen back slightly since, but investors very pleased with the figures they were getting from Orange. Bouygues is up around 5% on those reports of possibly buying SFR. Vivendi, Altus, the owners of Numéricable, all in positive territory. So investors very bullish about that deal. A generally positive sweep, as you can see, across the European markets. Rate decisions expected from both the European Central Bank and the Bank of England later today. Investors will be watching that closely. Over in Asia, the Nikkei continued its rise in Tokyo, closing up 1.6%. And despite ongoing fears about what would be the first corporate bond default in China, this is the Chinese solar panel maker Cherry Solar. That's due to happen tomorrow. Shanghai still managed to nudge into the green there before the close, up 0.3%.
Let's have a look at the company's news then. You're starting off with airline news, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Qantas first and their recent troubles. This as the government in Canberra passed a bill through the lower house which would relax the rules governing foreign ownership of the company. Qantas argues the limits are giving their competitors an unfair advantage. The airline's cutting 5,000 jobs after reporting losses of $210 million for the second half of 2013. This measure is likely to be blocked, though, by opposition parties in the Australian Senate who want to keep the firm in majority Australian hands. The British banks Barclays and Lloyds are to award massive share bonuses to their bosses in an effort to avoid a cap on executive pay. EU rules that came into force in January set a maximum bonus limit of twice an employee's salary if approved by shareholders. The CEO of Barclays is set to receive more than €1.1 million worth of shares this year, while the Lloyds boss will get just under that. And a senior executive at the US retailer Target has resigned in the wake of the massive data breach at the company last year. The firm's chief information officer, Beth Jacob, was in charge of the computer system from which the credit card details of 40 million customers were stolen. It's the first major departure from Target since news of the scandal broke in December.
Now, have you ever said to a colleague, for heaven's sake, give me some space? I'm going to say it to Flo and to Stephen now. But Stephen, you do have the answer for us, don't you?
No hints there, was there, Stuart?
No, not at all.
This is an initiative in New York, a new company set up to try to give New Yorkers in a very busy city some personal space. The company's called Breather. It allows you to rent a room in the capital for, not in the capital, rather, in the city, for an hour, for $25 an hour it costs. You book it through a mobile app and they give you a code to enter the room. The rooms themselves have a sofa, dining room, free Wi-Fi, space for you to relax and chill out. The company says people are free to do whatever they want as long as it's not illegal or immoral. What would you choose to do, Stuart, if you had an hour of peace and quiet?
Just go to sleep. Come on, we start work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Florence,
sleep.
I would take a nap. I'm a world-class.
It's a sad reflection on all of our lives, I feel.
Exactly.
There you
go. A little bit of space for you if you're at work. Stephen, thanks a lot. Move away, can you? Flo's here, though, as you saw. Well, she's going to have a look at what's happening in the international newspapers. The National People's Congress talked about it quite a lot yesterday.